Confederate. Psalms 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head against thee. So the first identification, right, to Esau's doctrine of conspiracy is that, number one, they hate Yah. They hate the name. They hear you say Yah, it's like something just bothers them. Oh. Or to spare their ministry, they'll say Yah in one side of the mouth, and then they'll say God in the other side of the mouth. They'll say Yahshua out of one side of the mouth, and they'll say Jesus out the other side of the mouth. That is an indication that they are followers of the doctrine of the conspirator. Right? They that hate thee have lifted up the head. Right now, let me just mention this while I'm thinking about it. Right? Remember what happened in the Tower of Babel? Right? They hated the name. They said, "Let us make us a sanctuary. Let's make a name." Right? They were building a place of worship, another name. Right? So that's what the doctrine, the conspirator doctrine of Esau is to diss the name of Yah and to embrace the many names of God. All right. Then he says they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Who is the they? We're going to break it down. And consulted against thy hidden ones, right? Okay. Verse 4. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, right? Not cut them off from being a people, cut them off from being a nation. In other words, it's all about rulership. Cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. See that? Because they hate Yah, they say, let's cut Yah's people off from being a nation so that we forget, right? So we forget the name. How many of y'all remember? How many of y'all read that and read past that? That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Okay? Israel, Yashrael, has the Most High's name in it. But let's continue. For they have consulted together with one consent, right? They are confederate against thee. Go back. The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, it says of Moab, but I want to bring clarity here. Of is an English word. Ishmaelites are not of Moab. So Ishmaelites are not the same as Moab. They're not Ishmaelites of Moab. So take that O and throw it in the trash can. Edom, Ishmael, Moab, right? And the Hadarenes. We're going to break each one of them down in this lesson, right? Gebel, Ammon, Amalek, Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, right? Tyre is sore, right? Asher also is joined with them. They have helped the children of Lot, right? So it lets us know. So we got Lot, right? It was a conspirator with Esau, Philistines, right? The Canaanites, right? All those people that surrounded Israel are the conspiracy. Edom is, here is a link I found. It's at Arabia Petra. Saul fought against Edom as one of his enemies, right? And the reference is 1 Samuel, 14 and 47. And it says, David's forces defeated the Edomites in the Valley of Salt. It says probably the Wadi Arabah or the Gore, its northern portion lying to the south of the Dead Sea. I messed up here. The south of the Dead Sea. And he put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom put he garrisons, and all they of Edom became David's servants. In 2 Samuel 13:14. 1 Chronicles 18 and 12 and 13. Edom suppressed under Israel's rule. It would appear that Joab, David's general, either on this or some subsequent occasion, made a terrible slaughter of the males in Edom, right? So now we're going to show you next Shabbat, Yah's will. Esau's males kept getting killed, but there always remained a remnant. That's one of the reasons why we know Esau's not the white man. That's from the genetic perspective, right? We don't have a genetic match. Y'all ain't gonna talk to me. If Esau is a so-called white man, that means that we should have the same type. When we do our DNA, we should have a match with the so-called white man. We don't. We don't. Only a small portion of the so-called white man do we have a similar DNA connection with. So from a historical dynamic, from the genetic dynamic, Esau can't be the white man as a whole, okay? That's the reason why these camps don't believe in DNA. I don't believe in DNA. You don't have to believe in it. It don't make it not true because you don't believe in it. I mean, look at I can look at my DNA and I can prove that DNA tells the truth, tells the story. I see my family members, those that I know that I'm related to, we connect, right? So Esau, when you look at the DNA markers, if you know anything about DNA, you look at the DNA markers of the so-called white man, it's not a match. If they was our brother, you would see a match. Okay, moving right along. So it says, Edom appears to have been still subject to Israel in the time of Shlomo, for he made a navy of ships in Ezon Geber, which is besides Elath, on the shore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom. Okay, so here's the reference. You see here, it says, Jehoshaphat made ships of Tarshish to go to Ophir for gold, but they went not, for the ships were broken at Ezon Geber. So Ezon Geber, right? This land, Ezon Geber, is a territory where the Edomites lived on the day of Shlomo. So if Esau, the book of Jasher says, if Esau became the Romans, then how is it that Esau is still dwelling during the time of Shlomo? Right? Okay? Were the Romans a kingdom already at this particular time in history? We're going to do a timeline. We're going to show you through a timeline how impossible it is for Esau to be the white man. Okay. So we can prove it through genetic, prove it through history, and we can prove it through a timeline, right? Okay, let's go to the next slide. It appears, however, that the inhabitants of Mount Seir joined the Moabites and Ammonites in attacking Jehoshaphat, but were slain by their own allies. That's in 2 Chronicles chapter 20 and verses 22 and 23, right? And I have the verses on the screen here. It says, Jehoshaphat was succeeded by Jehoram, his son, and in his days the Edomites revolted from under the dominion of Yehuda and made themselves a king. So during this time, it says they revolted from under the Israelites and they made a king. Okay. 2 Chronicles 20:22 says, and when they began to sing and to praise, Yah set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which were come against Yehuda, and they were smitten. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and to destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, every one helped to destroy another. 2 Chronicles, the other references, 21 and 10. So the Edomites revolted from under the hand of Yehuda unto this day. The same time also did Libnah revolt from under his hand, because he had forsaken Yah of his fathers. Okay. So we see Esau going in alliance with Moab and Ammon against the children of Israel. So that's Psalm 83 is showing that Esau was a continual conspirator against Yah and Yah's hidden ones, right? All right, let's go to the next slide. 2 Chronicles 28:16 says, at that time King Ahaz sent unto the kings of Assyria to help him. For verse 17, again the Edomites had come and smitten Yehuda and carried away captives. How about that? Have you ever read that? The Edomites came and smitten Yehuda and carried away captives. So here we see Esau instituting a slave trade against Yehuda. Did you know that? And we're going to show you in this lesson that Esau, his remnant, right, made alliance, and they were slave traders into the New World. We got a book. We're going to pull out this book. We're going to read it. We're going to show you some stuff going to make your head spin, right? All right, let's go back in. Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war. And they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him. Verse 6, at that time, Rezin, king of Syria, recovered Elath to Syria. So remember what I said, Elath, that's the southern region below the so-called Dead Sea, right? That was Esau's territory, right? So the king of Assyria, because Esau made an alliance with the king of Assyria, Ashur, right? He made an alliance with the king of Assyria, and he did what? Look back at it, it says, Rezin, king of Assyria, recovered Elath to Syria and drove the Israelites from Elath And the Syrians came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day. So bam, you got a connection with Esau right there. Who is he now connecting with now as a family? Okay. The Syrians, Asher, right? Now, it said Elath was where the shipyard was for King Shlomo. And this is my quotation. Could it be possible that Syria and Edom were not one? So if Syria had now populated at this time in history before the Roman conquest, you have Edomites living in south of Israel with Syrians. Who's living down there now? Esau and Syrians. Who are Syrians? Shemites, right? Who's Esau? Shemite, right? Through different lines, but Hebrews. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Now, this is the judgment. We're going to kind of hold off on this one here. Matter of fact, let's just read a little bit of it. Read a little bit of it since we there. Okay. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of Yah is filled with blood. It is made fat with the fatness and with the blood of lambs and goats and the fat of kidneys of rams. For Yah hath sacrificed in where? Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So Basra, that's Esau's land, right? Or Idumea, right? Yoshiyahu 34:8 says, For it is the day of Yah's vengeance and the year of recompense for Zion. All right. Yirmiyahu 49:7 says, Concerning Edom, thus says Yah of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? That's another one of Esau's seeds. Is counsel perished from prudence? Is their wisdom vanished? Right? Verse 8 says, Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring calamity of Esau upon him the time that I will visit him. So now you got another place where Esau is dwelling amongst. He's dwelling amongst Dedan. Okay? So let's see. Let's get a biblical definition for Dedan. Let's see. Man, I messed up. I'm gonna close my presentation down. How about that? I did that last week. Okay, let's see. Let's do this real quick. Let's Google search Dedan. Okay. So we see here in the table, we see Dedan in Genesis 10, which is a son of Cush. And we see Dedan in Genesis 25, which is a son of Jokshan. Right? Dedan, the sons of Dedan were Asherim and Letushim and Lamim. Okay. So this is the Dedan right here we're talking about. This is the descendant of Jokshan, which are the Arabs in Saudi Arabia, in that same region where Esau dwelt. So these are the people that Esau ended up making another alliance with, the people of Dedan. And we're going to show you where the Most High says, matter of fact, let me do this real quick. Hold on. I closed my main slide. Let me give it to you this way. Okay. Let's see. Let's start at verse 17, right? Then took I the cup of Yah's hand and made all the nations to drink. Now remember, Esau is the end of the world, right? So the nations he's talking about is not just Edomites. And this is proof of that, right? Here we go. Then I took the cup of Yah's hand and made all the nations to drink unto whom Yah had sent me, to wit, Jerusalem and the cities of Yehudah and the kings thereof and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation and astonishment and a hissing and a curse as it is this day. Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, and his servants and his princes and all his people, 20, and all the mingled people, right? And all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Askelon, and Azah, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, right? Edom, and Moab, and the children of Ammon, right? So now, what I want to offer to you is, if we go into the Strong's Numbers Plus, we look at this word mingled people, this phrase right here, mingled people, right? The Strong's number 6154 is Arab. Arabs, see that? Arab. The second form, it says, or transverse threads of cloth, also a mixture or a what? Mongrel race, right? Arabia, mingled people, mixed, right? So, the mingled people are the Arabs. These mingled people are who? A combination of Philistine or Canaanites, Ashkelon, the Gaza Strip, right? Azah, Gaza, Ekron, right? Ashdod, all in the Gaza, right? Edom, Moab, and the children of Ammon are also with them, right? All the kings of Tyre, right? So these are what they call Arab territories today. I know that was a lot, right? So you have a combination of Edomites within each and every one of those nations that conspired against Israel, right? Okay. Let's continue further. All the kings of Tyrus and all the kings of Zidon, the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, Dedan, Tema, Buz, and all that are in the utmost corners, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that are in the desert. So, once again, you have two different classes of Arabs, right? You have the Persian, Medo-Persian, Japhetic Arabs that look European, and then you have the Afro-Asiatic Arabs that dwell in the desert. And in those Arabs, that mingled people that dwell in the desert are also Edomites. Okay? And all the kings of Zimri. Okay. So now we have Zimri and Elam, and all the kings of the Medes. Wait a minute. I thought the Medes were destroyed by the Greeks. So you got to see all this shifting going around. You got to see all these empires being conquered by people. And in the midst of the conquering, right, you have raping of the daughters and you have sons being born, right? So they're now becoming a Mongol race of people. So you got a Mongol race of people that's living in the so-called Middle East that the people that don't know history think, oh, they're the same people that was there in antiquity. No, not at all. It's a combination of Mongol races of people. That's why it's hard to say one people here is Esau, because we can see that Esau has made alliances with many nations, and he crossed over into some European, which we're going to cover that in this lesson as well. Okay? That's where you get King James from. Okay. All right, now. How much time we got? 11:30. Okay. Let's try to wrap it up here. And all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kings of the world, which are upon the face of the earth, and the kings of Shishak shall drink after them. So now, here's where we get the connection right here. Verse 26. All the kings of the north, far and near, one with another. Okay. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus says Yah of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, drink you and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more because of the sword which I will send among you. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, thus says Yah of hosts, you shall certainly drink. For lo, I began to bring evil on your city, which is called by my name. How about that? And should ye be utterly unpunished, you shall not be unpunished. For I will call for the sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, not just Esau, says Yah of hosts. Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, Yah shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his Kodesh habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout as they that tread grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. Here we go. Noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for Yah have a controversy with who? With Esau. Right? Huh? Yah has a controversy with Esau, or does he have a controversy with the nations, right? So the nations are inclusive of all those people that we read in the previous verses. See, we can't look at judgment with a tunnel vision. Yah is not coming to bring judgment on white people. He's coming to bring judgment on the enemies, which comes in many forms. Can other nations be redeemed from the judgment? Yes, they can. Will they? That's up to them. Some will, some won't. All right, let's continue. Thus saith Yah of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and great whirlwinds shall be raised up upon the coasts of the earth. And the slain of Yah shall be at that day from one end of earth even to the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. Howl, you shepherds, and cry, and wallow yourselves in the ashes of the principal of the flock. For the days of your slaughter and of your dispersions are accomplished. Notice he said, see, he's saying they're going to be dispersed. Look at that. That's what Joel 3 said. You're going to take your sons and your daughters and sell them into the hands of the Sabians, right? Okay? And you shall fall like a pleasant vessel. and the shepherds shall have no way to flee, nor the principal of flock to escape. Verse 36. A voice of the cry of the shepherds and howling of the principal of flocks shall be heard, for Yah have spoiled their pasture, and the peaceable habitations are cut down because of the fierce anger of Yah. For he hath forsaken, I should say, his covert as the lion, for their land is desolate because of the fierceness of the oppressor and because of the fierce anger. So that's that judgment when Yah said, I'm going to bring all nations down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I'm going to judge the nations, right? So Esau is that chief conspirator who has spread his seed or have had his seed forcefully spread, whichever case it is, among all those nations that have oppressed and continue to oppress the children of Israel. It's called the Great Conspiracy, right?